Well, welcome to Friday, everyone. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. I hope you had a good week going forward. I want to share with you some stuff to hopefully make you laugh, hopefully, maybe make you think a little bit. So let's head into the jokes here. The first one I'm going to do actually comes from Randy. She had sent me a joke about Forrest Gump. So it's a little bit of a long one, but I think it's a good one. Forrest Gump passed away and goes to heaven. He's at the pearly gates and met by St. Peter himself. However, the gates are closed and Forrest approaches the gatekeeper. And St. Peter says, "Well, Forrest, it's really nice to see you. We've heard a lot about you, but I have to tell you that the place is filling up fast, and we've been administering an entrance examination for everyone. The test is short, but you must pass it before you get into heaven." And Forrest replied, "It's good to be here, Sir Peter, sir. No one ever informed me of an entrance exam, and I hope the test is not too hard. Life was big enough test as it was." St. Peter continues, "Yes, I know, Forrest, but the test only has 3 questions. The first one is, what 2 days of the week begin with the letter T? The second, how many seconds are there in a year? And third, what is the first name of God?" And Forrest leaves to think the questions over. So the next day he comes back and sees St. Peter, who waves him up and says, "Now that you've had a chance to think of the answers over, tell me your answers." And Forrest says, "Well, the first one, what 2 days of the week begin with the letter T? Shucks, it's pretty easy. That'd be today and tomorrow." And St. Peter's eyes got really wide open and he explains, "Forrest, that's not what I was thinking, but you do have a point, and I guess I didn't specify, so I'll give you credit for that answer." "So how about the second one," said St. Peter. "How many seconds are there in a year?" "Now that one's harder," said Forrest, "but I thunk and thunk about it, and I guess the only answer can be 12. Now confused St. Peter says, "12? Really, 12? Forrest, how in heaven's name could you come up with 12 seconds in a year?" Forrest says, "Well, shucks, there's got to be 12. I mean, there's January 2nd, there's February 2nd, there's March 2nd. "Hold it," interrupts St. Peter. "I see where you're going with this, and I see your point, though that wasn't quite what I had in mind. But I have to give you credit for that one, too. Let's go on with the third and final question. Can you tell me God's first name?" "Sure," Forrest replied. "It's Andy." This is my favorite part of the joke. "Andy," explained an exasperated and frustrated St. Peter. "Okay, I can understand how you came up with the first two answers to my first 2 questions, but just how in the world did you come up with the name Andy as the first name of God?" "Shucks, that was the easiest one of all," Forrest replied. "I learned it from the song. Andy walks with me, Andy talks with me, and he tells me I am his own." And St. Peter opens the pearly gates and says, "Run, Forrest, run." I thought that was a pretty good one. So thank you, especially that last part. I use that same joke, except I say it a little differently at the care center. I always remind people, because that's one of the songs they always want to sing, is "In the Garden," and I always enjoy that a lot. Doing that particular joke, the grandson and grandfather are telling a joke, and so the grandson always says, "Hey, I know the name of the name of God is Andy," and you sort of know the rest of the joke then. So I appreciate that because it reminds me of that and gives me a nice little grin. Here's a couple other ones. What do you call a magic dog? A labracadabra. Why did the woman go outside with her purse open? She expected some change in the weather. Chink. And what do you call night crawlers that are taking over the world? Global warming. Thank you, Roger, for those. Those were some good jokes. And now from I have some other jokes from the Halstead family here. A boy asks his father, "Dad, are bugs good to eat?" "That's disgusting. Don't talk about those things like that over dinner," his dad replies. And after dinner, the father asks, "Okay, now, son, what did you want to ask me?" "Oh, nothing," the boy says. "There was a bug in your soup, but now it's gone." A husband and a wife were driving through Louisiana. As they were approaching the Natchewins, they started arguing about the pronunciation of the town. They argued back and forth, and they stopped for lunch. And at the counter, the husband asked the blonde waitress, Before we order, could you please settle an argument for us?" And she goes, "Yeah, sure. What would you like?" "Would you please pronounce where we are at very slowly?" And the lady leaned over the counter and said, Burger King. So yeah, so those are some pretty good jokes. And let me go find. So I want to say thank you for those folks who have been giving us those jokes. They've been really pretty awesome. And then I will get to our riddles for this week. Let me see okay, for the riddles this week, just to get us caught back up on those, I believe the first riddle was, I have branches but no fruit, trunk or leaves. What am I? If you guessed a bank, you are right. Again, I have branches but no fruit, trunk or leaves. I am a bank. And what can't talk but will reply when spoken to? Again, what can't talk but will reply when spoken to? And the answer is an echo, 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 echo. So those were our answers from last week for the two riddles. So this week, we'll talk about two other new riddles for this week. I think they might be a little easier. The first one is, what has lots of eyes but can't see? What has a lot of eyes but can't see? And the second riddle is, what has many needles but doesn't sew? What has many needles but doesn't sew? So those are our two riddles for this week. So if you have them, again, you can place them in the comment section of the video, or on Facebook, you can write them in the comment section below too. Thank you all again for sending those jokes here. Those are great. A reminder for this weekend, Saturday is the plant sale from 8 to noon, so please come by for that. If you'd like to buy some plants, that would be great. Though that money for that goes to the confirmation kids, or I should say the confirmation youth. The other thing is we'll have service again on Sunday, and that will be a Facebook Live service. And so this is also Mother's Day too. So as we sort of think about Mother's Day, I know it's going to be a little different than what we traditionally have here on Sunday for Mother's Day. And so what can you do for your mom this year to help remind her how much she means to you and stuff like that? So have you started thinking about maybe sending her some flowers, a card, maybe doing a Zoom call? What are those things that you can do, that you have power to do right now, that you can do? And maybe it's just sending her a card, or just checking up on her, or just saying thank you. There's a bunch of different things. So just think about that this week as we get closer to Mother's Day here on Sunday. Well, I hope you enjoyed Funny Friday. I hope you laughed a little bit, at least put a little smile on your face. And it was wonderful to see you all. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. And we will see you on Sunday for service. Take care and God bless.